Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Mortgage Coach Friday Mastermind. Every single Friday, 9 o'clock Pacific, we are here to bring the mortgage industry's best online mastermind every single week. I've got as my co-host today, Mr. Todd Bookspan. What's up, brother?
Not a whole heck of a lot. I'm just super excited to be here and talk about truly one of my top three favorite subjects, annual mortgage review.
Yeah, well, I think obviously annual mortgage reviews is going to be the topic, or a topic, but the topic is just how to optimize your past customer database. I mean, if you're on this call, you either have a past customer database or you want to have a past customer database. You're doing the business and you're trying to grow that. So we've got two amazing mortgage professionals that both crush it. We've got Rick Shear, who's done over $100 million a year in personal production, as our special guest. Rick, how you doing, brother?
Doing amazing, man. Thank you so much for the invite, dude. You're continuously adding a ton of value to our industry, and I just really appreciate you for that.
So real quick for everybody, so they know it, what is your production this year? How many past customers do you have?
Yeah, you teed me up. So I came short of my $100 million goal, so a little over $80 million this year, about 240 transactions, and my past database about 1,400 that I have record of. I had a couple of years in the business there that I wasn't so organized, so but about 1,400 right now.
Okay, cool. And then as another co-host and leader on today's call, we have Michelle Town, one of our regular leaders. And Michelle, you killed it this year. How much production did you do this year?
We closed just under 112 million with 198 families served this year. So super happy about that, and looking forward to. We really got in the last quarter with a lot of identifying. We'll talk about it more next week. Identifying our client and marketing to our past clients. So those annual reviews are huge. So I'm glad that we're starting off the year with this right now.
So by the way, guys, while Michelle is a regular leader in this weekly mastermind, next Friday, so not this Friday, which is today, next Friday, she's going to be the special guest. And she like all of us, we started this group based off of Darren Hardy's insane productivity program. And then she recently went to his 2-day, is it 2-day or 3-day event? 3. So she recently went to his 3-day event, and we're going to focus next Friday all about, how to be super productive, and some of her takeaways that she applied this year and what she's applying this coming year to optimize her productivity. So next Friday, don't miss it.
Yeah, we should check, Dave. We should also check to see if Danny Harani is available, because he is one of the main reasons why I was at that event this year.
All right, well, done deal. I'll invite Danny, and if he's got time on the calendar, I'm sure he'll join us. So as our other special guest for today's call, we have Wally Elderberry. What's up, my brother?
Hey, Ben, how are you? I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming here. And by the way, guys, if you did not watch the interview, it was my first interview of 2018, a couple of weeks ago, or I guess a week ago. That's what really inspired today's call, is Wally and I was interviewing him. In 2017, you closed 21 loans from your past customer database, right, Wally?
Yes, sir.
And you got like a little over 800 past customers?
Yeah, right, like 940.
940. And how many loans from past customers did you close in 2018?
So 2018 was right about 25 million or so. So from 4% previously to 31%. So what is that?
81. Yeah, 81 loans. So guys, he literally quadrupled his past customers in 1 year. And it was like, we did a call on that on Tuesday, and now we're going to do a Friday mastermind around that. And I invited Rick Shear. I also invited a CEO to a company called Sales Boomerang that I think is an important company that people need to know about if you want to optimize your past customer database. I'm going to bring Alex in at about halfway point through the call. He's listening in, he's taking notes, and I've got a few questions I want to ask him on this topic in front of everybody. So guys, let's get into it, man. And Todd, you used to be the mortgage coach poster child on annual reviews of past customer business. So I'm going to really kind of throw it to you, because you know Wally, you know Rick, why don't you ask the first question and kind of get this whole conversation going?
Well, real quick, can I just give a quick shout out to your LinkedIn article you did? Because I thought it was so awesome on the top calls of 2018. Would that be cool?
That would be really cool.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, you got to check it out. Dave's posted it to our group, the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind group on Facebook. But I really big high five to you, highlighting the top calls from 2018 with links and takeaways. I mean, it's just a super great article, good give back. I still feel like the best resource out there for mortgage loan originators is the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. And of course, I love the fact that the number one was our Scriptapalooza, which I know we'll be announcing the next date here shortly. But certainly the Win by Noon Mortgage Coach collab that we did with, of course, none other than Rick, who's here, and Wally. So we had a really good crew that came out for that one. So thank you guys for being part of it, and thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for mentioning that. It's an article that I posted on LinkedIn a couple days ago. I'll put a post, like if you're watching this in Zoom, I'll put a link to it. If you're watching this on Facebook, I'll put a link to it. I try to do this around, the top 12 were not really subjective. It was just like what were viewed the most. And Scriptapalooza won. Darren Hardy's, my interview with Darren to kick off the year, was number 2. My call with Tim Brahim, 9 prospecting habits was number 3. Nicole Solari crushed it with her digital open house. Jeremy Forcier, I think he's got a couple here. He was number 5. Number 6 was my interview with Steve Brown, former futurist with Intel, chief futurist. Number 7, Jeremy. So we had Jeremy 2 times. And then, I was surprised, like this Bill Hillstad call was so epic. I thought it might actually be higher. But when we looked at, the number of videos, number 8, number 9, we had realtor strips with Jeremy. So Jeremy Forcier had 3 of the 12 most viewed videos. This kind of surprised me, Coach Mike White, nothing, doesn't surprise me against you, but like this topic pulled big time. So, how to go from struggling to thriving in 60 days with Coach Mike White came in number 9 or 10. Number 11, Seller Buy Down Mastermind. And number 12, Win with Rate Shoppers with Shane Kidwell. So check that out. Also, I put what I just thought were some other noteworthy interviews, like Cindy Ertman's. While this interview was in 2017, it was one of the 10 most watched videos in 2018. And it's like almost 5,000 views. And then I just picked some of my favorite interviews. By the way, I have had a lot of people ask me what is my favorite interview of 2017. And while it didn't win one of the 12 most viewed videos, my personal favorite was Gratitude for Greatness by Josh Metal. One, because it had to do with prospecting. And I think that's at the heart of every top producer's success. And 2, he talked about how him and his team focus on being grateful before they prospect. And it was my number 1 favorite interview for last year. So, hey, Todd, thanks for shining a light on that before we kick things off.
No, I think it was awesome. And, I liked it just because Josh wasn't wearing he was wearing a hat. And I think that was good. He was, he had his inner Jeremy going wearing the baseball cap. So that was good as well. But I'm excited to have you, Rick, and Wally here today because I think you guys really win. Although, Dave, I appreciate the hat nod, hat tip that I was the guy, right? My first interview with you in 2010 was around annual mortgage reviews. And, I really feel like the torch has passed, right? Rick, last year when we interviewed you and you talked about how you're using technology to stay in touch with your clients. And then, Wally, obviously your numbers are just astounding. So, because the whole goal here is how to optimize your database as we head into 2019, and maybe if you guys could each just give, your top, like, what does that look like to you guys? What is it that you guys are doing day in and day out, week in and week out to stay in touch with your database? That would be a benefit to everyone who's watching.
Yeah. Where do you want to take it?
Go for it, Rick.
All right. I just got done with reading the book, The Power of Who, I'm sure most of the people are either familiar with it. If you're not familiar with it, I think it's a really great book to start off the year and get really clear on your who, like who's in your network, and take the rifle approach as opposed to the shotgun. I look at my database of 1,400, and it's like, well, are we just going to go, keep marketing to all of them? Well, you can't. And so this concept really resonated with me, where we're going to really pay attention to our top 100, clients. And we've separated the real estate agents, CPAs, financial planners out of this. I really want to be as strategic as possible around the past clients. And then what we're going to do is we've planned out a couple of events that we're going to have throughout the year to really talk about and really cater to the top 100. I think if we can really have that shotgun approach to 100 past clients, the ones that have referred us in the past, used us multiple times, we know they're our cheerleader for us. I'm going to put a lot more attention on that top 100 than I've ever done before, and not worry so much about the 1,400.
So what's that going to look like from an event perspective? Like, what is it? 1 event, 3 events?
Yeah, so we're looking at doing 4 events quarterly. So probably the beginning of March, and that's just because we've just started to iron it out. One of them is going to be just a cocktail party that we're gonna have at an event that's close to the city but outside, so there's parking. And we're going to start marketing. We're going to do a 30-day marketing towards that. We'll also actually include some of our real estate partners as well. And then we're going to do a summer event at an outside bar here as well. Don't know what the fall event is going to be, an apple picking event. I did that last year. Again, that was I invited 600 agents 600 partners or clients to that. And we had a pretty good turnout. But we're going to be more, again, we're going to have a lot more detail around that, hitting 100, and then we'll do something in the wintertime that we haven't identified yet.
What about in between? Do you guys do a email newsletter, mailed newsletter? What else are you guys doing to keep in touch in addition to your annual mortgage review process?
Yeah, so we're actually just about to launch Whiteboard as our CRM. So we're going to be using that to do that regular touch points that everybody else is doing out there to everybody. And so we're big sports up here in Boston. We've had some recent success, right, Todd?
The Super Bowl went well for you guys.
Not last year, but sports magnets have always been a really good pull. Stick around, they're sticky. So we'll continue that stuff as well.
That's awesome. And then, Dave, I see you popping on. What questions do you have, sir?
So two things. One, I want to remind folks that I've interviewed Bob Bodine a couple times. So every mortgage professional needs to read the book. And I do recommend that you watch either my last interview with him, which was just a month or 2 ago, or the first one. But in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, check it out.
If you guys want to peek at it, I'll just hold it up for 1 second, steal the camera back. All right, Dave, it's back to you.
All right, thanks. And real quick, what were your stats? How many past client loans did you do last year, just so we could get a feel for that?
Yeah, we did 62 past. I've identified about 45 of those being annual review calls. And when I say identify them that way, I wouldn't have done those loans had I been on a call with a client and uncovered contexts that led us to do some sort of transaction to put them in a better situation.
So guys, I just want to make sure everyone on this call connected the dots on that. How many loans did you close from past clients again?
A little under 70 for my whole pipeline. And I'm going to attribute to over 40 where those were people that I wouldn't have looked at a spreadsheet and said, you're at 5%, I can bring you to 4.5%, let's do a refinance. That's how we used to always do it, right? You take your spreadsheet, rates dropped, and you don't want a refi boom. Over 40 were uncovering context through an annual review call to know that on the face of it, they were in good shape. However, we were actually able to help them in a different way get in a better situation. So one of the examples that you asked for today, I've got it. It's a really great example of how, until I got on the phone call and uncovered the fact that there was some student loan debt there and some PMI, that we ended up raising their interest rate by 0.5%, saving them over $250 a month.
Cool. So let's in the last third of the call, get into those because I want to get tactical into annual reviews. But I just want to make sure everybody writes this down, because the number of loans that Rick called from past customers and the number of loans because he did an annual review is more loans than most loan officers close in an entire year. And so I just want everybody to really get a grip that there is just life-changing opportunity in your database. So Wally, let's pass Todd's question to you and hear how you answer that.
Yeah. So the biggest thing we're doing differently, I think we did a pretty good job of the annual mortgage reviews of past clients. Like, again, I was the guy that would close a loan, collect a check, and never hear from me again until it was a refi boom, and I became your best friend and calling you almost daily. So the biggest thing is the wealth team. I think we did a pretty good job on the annual mortgage reviews, but the wealth team is CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys. And what I'm doing is I work with 6 mega agents. So 65% of my business comes from, on average, from realtors. So that's only 6 teams. So what I'm doing is I'm surrounding each mega agent team that I work with, so they're the core, they refer as a client, and around them are going to be a wealth team. So that's specific CPAs, specific financial advisors, specific family will attorneys that I'm getting from their database, and also gathering that information to reach out to them and show them what we do for clients. So the wealth team is number 1. Number 2 that we're doing is in 2018, I'm sorry. 2018, we closed about 270 closings. Well, I only met face-to-face 9 of those families, nine clients, which was definitely something I built for efficiency. But biggest thing we're doing is we're reviewing the TCA and also face-to-face. So once a client comes in for pre-qualification, we're actually meeting clients face-to-face. So we've met so far 75% of our applications this year, which is a huge different thing. It's something that you don't think I was trying to reinvent the wheel, but going from being over the phone 96% of the time to just face-to-face has been definitely a great experience. Because we're trying to set that wow experience, that 5-star wow experience for clients and families. At the end of the day, we want to provide an experience for them from they come in and there's a menu there. They can pick if it's a latte, if it's a cappuccino, if it's a soda, whatever they want specifically. And we've got all that here. So the 3 major things is the wealth team, the wow experience, and the face-to-face.
Love that, guys. So I do want to remind everybody on this call, this is a mastermind. So I did my interview with Wally where it was, we covered this topic, and there's a couple interviews on that. Check it out. But this is a place where, you can ask questions. So if you have a question for Rick, a question for Wally, put those in comments. So if you're in Zoom, you can put them in chat. And if you're watching this on Facebook, Todd and I we're tuned in, hey, what's up, Trevor Trinidad, Kylie, Linda Buchanan, another complete awesome mortgage professional out of Southern California. Rachel, what's up? Tim out of Seattle, what's going down? Liz out of Redondo Beach. So again, ask these guys questions. We want to make sure we get to it. Now, in the last third of this call, we're going to get really tactical around annual reviews. And we're going to go through a couple examples so you guys can learn to do that. Because, Wally, is this pretty much the case? When you think of what you did different in 2017 versus 2018, it really just came down to you implemented annual reviews. You listened to what Rick did, you took notes, and you implemented.
It was Rick. It took a community. It took the whole mortgage coach community candidly to help me. It was Rick. It was Todd. It was you, Todd Duncan, Laura Richardson. There wasn't anybody. Everybody I reached out to the community that was asking questions for. They taught me how to do an annual mortgage review. I've never done one before in my life, and that's what I focused all year long. I butchered a lot of them. I made a lot of failures through it, but by the end of the year, I really got the great hang of it.
Beautiful.
Wally. Oh,
no, go Todd.
Hey, Wally, you know, I love the fact that you're pushing face-to-face, but as I'm hearing you say that, I know that there's people listening who are like, oh, my clients aren't going to drive to see me. Like, can you give us the script of how you're getting your clients in and talk about the fact you live in a really big city. So it's not like people are driving 5 minutes to get to you in some small town. You got people driving from all over. So can you walk through what that conversation is like and how you're scripting it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is not my script. I'm stealing this from Cody Hardridge, which has been a great buddy of mine over the years. And what Cody taught me was he said, or this for instance, that, hey, Todd, thanks for coming out. Oh, it's too far for you to come see me. I'm 30 minutes away or 45 minutes away or even an hour away. Simply what Cody taught me was like, hey, have you ever been to Willow Bend Mall? And so it's a mall down the street here in Plano. Have you ever been to Willow Bend Mall? Like, yeah, absolutely. We've been there. I bought a pair of jeans. Oh, that's awesome. So you'll drive this far to buy a pair of jeans instead of driving this far to allow me to customize a mortgage that fits your short-term goals, long-term goals, tax advantages. So they just gotta feel that it's important to them. I had a client yesterday that came from Roanoke, which is an hour and 15 minutes away from us, an hour and 15 minutes each way. And I was able to get that client in by using that script for the face-to-face.
I love it. I always use the hair salon, like, hey, because people are like, I'm too busy. I can't do it during the day. I'm like, well, do you get your hair cut during the day? And most people say yes and have a similar conversation. So thanks for sharing that. I cut you off, Dave, so feel free to jump back on if you had a good follow-up question.
No, man. Hey, we just harvested an awesome script to get more people into your face-to-face experience. So I love that. Why don't we do 2 scripts each? I'm going to have you do one, Rick, have you do one, Wally. You know, how you're getting someone to show up for the annual review meeting. You know, if you could just give us and I know it's a combination of email, some of this is delegated to your team, but I want to make sure everybody who's watching this gets another script on how to get people into those conversations. Rick, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so I take the approach where we send out an email to everybody through we sent out everybody an email that had closed that month in the previous years with a thing around, hey, it's time for your in review. There's a lot of things that's going on economically and politically, and I think it would actually be of a huge benefit in order to spend about 15 minutes on the phone. I promise you, after the end of our 15 minutes, it's well worth your time. Book a time to speak with me. So I use an online calendar that I've used to carve out certain 15-minute increments. So they go on, they book a call. I would say about 15 to 20% will book a time with me based on that one email. Couple of days after that, we strip out the people who did book a call and we send them a slide broadcast. This allows me to send a voicemail message to their cell phones, and it's like I've called them personally. We keep it generic enough, but it's, hey, it's Rick Shear at MSA Mortgage. Sent you an email a couple of days ago about our interview call that we've got coming up. Do me a favor, it may have gone into your junk mail. Just go grab it. There's a link there to schedule a 15-minute call. We've got a lot of things going on in economically and politically that may have an effect on your current mortgage. It's a good time to check in. So do me a favor, book a time to speak with me, and I look forward to connecting with you.
So real quick, I just want everybody to make sure you're following along. Like if you're on a podcast or you're not looking on the screen right now, I'm showing an article that I wrote in LinkedIn from last year's, not last year. This is from 2017. And by the way, Rick, just kind of, listening to you talk and then going through this article, it looks like it really hasn't changed much. It looks like you're just running the same play over and over and over.
Yeah, it's effective. So I try not to fix anything that's not broken for me. I usually screw it up at that point. So
cool. So by the way, everybody on this call, if you want to follow Rick's scripting, you want to learn from it, it was one of the knowledge sources that Wally used when he created his system, his scripting. Check it out. It's in my LinkedIn article. If you're watching the video of this, I'll put a link down below. If you're on Zoom, I'll put a link there, and I'll put a link in Facebook. So Wally, how would you answer that same question?
So Rick, that's absolutely brilliant, and thanks to you, my team and I, for like probably literally weekly for almost a month, we sat down and we read that, we watched your videos, and we just studied everything you did. So thank you so much for doing all that. But to answer your question, the way that we did it, we used technology also. So I think I talked about this earlier, but basically a slide dial goes out to a past client. And from there, an hour later, a video text goes out to the past client. And from there, an hour later, so within a 3-day span, a BombBomb video goes out to the client. And it says, hey, I just wanted to circle back with you. I know we closed the mortgage. The first stop, the slide dial and the BombBomb video is usually about a minute. So it's basically, I just want to touch base with annual mortgage review time. I've been studying your mortgage and seeing how it has been performing. And I have a couple ideas that might help you pay more principal, less interest, and help the mortgage run very efficiently. I love to set up a call. Here's my link, just like Rick does. I use Schedule Once. It's a great product. So from there, if I still can't get a hold of him, then I have one of my assistants call. So he spends 4 hours on a daily basis just calling past clients to set up annual mortgage reviews. So we're going to use technology first. But if the technology doesn't work for whatever reason, then we're going to reach out via phone to them.
Love it. So guys, I've put those links in it. I'm also going to put a link to my last interview with Wally, where he gets into, his tech stack, his scripting. It's all here, man. Between today's call and a few more calls, like, by the way, a couple hours of homework, you've got the playbook. By the way, guys, just as we're reviewing tech stack and what you're using, by the way, I know the answer, but I just want the audience to hear it from you. How often are you using Mortgage Coach Total Cost Analysis as part of that, annual review experience? And just give us a quick, a minute on that, each of you. Wally, why don't you go first?
So 100% of the time, is there a higher percentage in that? At the end of the day, it's my whole basis. It runs the whole conversation. So we use we changed our model where right after closing, within a week after closing, my assistant goes in there and updates the total cost analysis and creates the annual mortgage review. And then from there, it has all their data, it has all what the interest rate is, what the monthly payment, what the escrows are. Everything is all there. So when we do that annual mortgage review, we're using Mortgage Coach for the technology that kind of runs the whole conversation. So
in the last 15 minutes of the call, we're going to go through an example of how you used it. Rick, real quick, how are you? By the way, everybody, did you notice? Now, Wally's got a team. I mean, he's doing over $75 million a year in business, killing it, closing a lot of loans. So his assistant's doing the setup. If you're closing less than, 8 to 10 loans a month, you can do the setup. It takes about no longer than 5 minutes per TCA, total cost analysis. Rick, how would you answer that question, bud?
Yeah. So I go in there with no expectation of what may serve them, especially if we're in a situation where the rate's higher. But I use a TCA every single time after I've covered the context. So after I know, hey, we have a cash out situation, we've got a remodel, we've got an arm adjusting, I take all of that back, put it in the TCA, and that will easily allow me to explain why going up 0.5% in an interest rate is a huge benefit to their actual situation. So I use it in every one. And without it, I'm not sure I would convert as many people because they can't clearly see why it's a benefit. So yeah, every single time.
No doubt. And remember, guys, this isn't just about refis. This is about purchases too. You're finding if you're doing these annual reviews, you're getting to the purchase opportunities before the agent. And now you're able to give them. And by the way, this isn't just about loans. It's about referrals here to all kinds of referral partners. So I think this is a good time to bring Alex into the conversation because we're talking about tech. And there's a technology company called Sales Boomerang that I don't think a lot of people. Alex is one of my new best friends now. It's been less than a year that I met him, but we both travel, and I think it was a social survey event where we hung out for the first time. Is that right, bud?
Yes, that was the big one first. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a couple things that Alex's company does that I think is just incredible, and I'm going to tee it up, and then Alex, I want you to one, if you have a takeaway from what these guys have said, I want to hear it, and then two, I'm sure everybody on this call knows how to get in touch with you and knows what you do. But Alex's company does two things. One, you could give him their data and they could do a lost loan report. So literally, you can know how many loans in your past customer database actually did a loan this year and who they did it with. Craziness. So when you're losing loans and how many of your loans, and you can do this at the front end too. And then the beauty is, not only can you really understand how much money you're leaving on the table and losing, but he'll give you alerts. And so Alex, I'll let you take it from there. Why don't you just cover some of the alerts that our community could be getting so that they optimize their past customer database?
Sure. Thanks. First of all, thank you for having me on this. Number one, I've had to sit really quietly and still, and you know how hard that is for me, listening to all of this amazing content and all of these amazing success stories. Before I jump into the products themselves and everything that they can track, I just want to say there's a very interesting, harmonious process that I'm hearing from Rick and from Wally and from Michelle, and it's this very personal face-to-face touch. And I want to talk about that after I talk about the products. I want to specifically mention what that means. Like, what does face-to-face actually mean, right? It means trust and value. I'm going to talk about why that's all important, especially for past customers. So thank you for that intro. Sales Boomerang is a borrower intelligence company. We launched a brand new category in this mortgage space, and we really sort of borrowed this idea of intelligence from some of the bigger companies out there, or bigger industries out there, the tech and the consumer product space, where they use a lot of customer intelligence and business intelligence to really create a barrier for competitors to be able to go in and grab your past customers, right? So what we've done is we've automated a process based on relevant events for you, the lender, and that's relevant for the borrower, right? And what we want to create is a no borrower, right? No borrower left behind relationship between the lender and the borrower. So things like your borrower had bad credit. Well, we're going to track them until their credit gets better, right? Without hurting their credit at all, and without alerting your competitors that their credit is improved. Only you know, right? They're shopping for a mortgage. They list their home for sale. They got married. They got divorced. They had a baby. Somebody's going to college. They have lots of credit card debt. They're an applicant with you, and they go and apply for a car before the loan closes, where you can get alerted so they don't do something silly like that and you lose that deal. So all borrower intelligence that could affect a financial event around the mortgage is what we do. Okay. So that's a good short explanation, Dave.
Yeah. And by the way, what are we looking here? Just, I want to make sure people connect the dots to what's on the screen.
So you had mentioned loan loss, and this is fantastic because I was listening to Rick talk about, hey, he did altogether, where's my notes, 62 deals from past customers in 2018. 40 of them came from sort of just uncovering an opportunity. I want to show you something. On screen is a loan loss report, okay? This is from one company in 1 year, okay? In 1 year, in just 2018. See this? Just 2018. In just 1 year, how many loans they lost from their own database, who they lost them to, when the loan happened, right? So the date, then when the loan happened, when they started the file versus when the loan actually happened, who did the deal, what's the loan amount, variable or fixed rate, term of the loan, type of loan, refi or purchase, and the loan type itself, the product. Now, this is one company. On just refis, they missed out on 1.8 billion in loans. And on purchase, they missed out on 1.1 billion in loans. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because what Rick said was, by digging into a conversation, he uncovered an opportunity for a client to actually improve their current situation. Sales Boomerang was born from the concept of improving borrower situations with lenders. And to prove that, we had to be able to show you, the lender, look how many loans are going away from within your own database every single year, right? So this report is to show you, so there's no guessing, is to show you exactly where your leads and prospects went. Thank you. Perfect screen, Dave. Show you where your leads and prospects, your pre-quals, your turndowns, they're not dead. Somebody's doing that loan. And by engaging, having resources to tell you when your borrower has improved their credit, when they're shopping for a mortgage, when they listed their home for sale, when they have enough equity to either refi or do a move-up purchase, right? Somebody has lots of credit card debt, and you get notified and you know they have equity, you can save them from headaches, right? So as a whole, we automate the entire process. We track the entire database for you, and we like to change the name database to customer base. Customer base is a little bit warmer than data. Data is cold. Customers are warm. And make sure that you're not missing those conversations. And the best part, and why Dave and I have become best friends in a very short amount of time, is we're the opposite side of the same coin, right? We deliver the information, the opportunity. Dave helps you tailor it, makes it look great when presenting it. So no opportunity is lost, and every opportunity that's created can be delivered in a beautiful way using things like Mortgage Coach. So I want to make a couple comments here. Well, let me stop for a second, Dave. Anybody have any questions or thoughts?
Let's do this, because by the way, I've hosted panels with Alex on it, so I'm going to cut him off here in a minute because he can literally talk for the next 20 minutes. But here's the deal. I am a huge fan of this product. I'm a huge fan of Alex. After I met him, I added, that like, what is the modern mortgage pro? It's someone who captures key data on partners and clients so they can personalize multi-channel content like a total cost analysis and annual review. And by the way, based off of insights, updates, and triggers. So you really changed, a lot. And, today's call is all about this, like, how do we stop losing all money from, hey, we did a transaction. And remember, the lifetime value of the client is even more because they're going to do lots of deals. And so, Wally, I mean, think about it. While you went from 21 to, 81, and so that's 60 transactions, times that by 5. That's the lifetime value. You really, 61 times 5, if you keep doing what you're doing for the next 20 years, it just multiplies. It's like a snowball rolling down the hill, guys. And so I wanted to really cover that. So Alex, you got 1 minute for one more thought, and then we want to get back into these top producers.
Yeah, no, listen, the 1 minute, and I might even share a screen real quick, is that I love everything that Rick and Wally and Michelle are talking about, the face-to-face. It's all about being personal. It's all about personalizing communication. And when you have a borrower intelligence system, it allows you to track a person, not a population, which means you can cater to a person's needs digitally. You get a notification, your system of record, your MOS, your CRM can automatically send out a message specifically to Dave, to Wally, to Alex on their situation. You no longer have to go fishing. You know exactly what you're approaching and why and when. And so I'll share this one screen and then we'll rock and roll.
Real quick, by the way.
Sure.
Well, what CRM do you use, Wally?
Jungo.
And by the way, Alex, do you guys integrate with Jungo?
Easily, yep.
Yeah, so Wally, think about this. You could turn, you've already got the Mortgage Coach integration in. By the way, we've got, more and more CRMs that have automated the annual review with Mortgage Coach, and Jungo is one of them. And so think about this, Wally. You could turn on Sales Boomerang, get these alerts within Jungo, and then you could automate. Like, you still want to meet with people and have the conversation, but you can automatically. You can send out a TCA to all your past clients every quarter. So it literally becomes like, hey, at the point of sale, you do a loan with me. I help you make a better decision to build wealth with real estate. And then I manage that decision by giving you this quarterly or monthly review. And then annually, I have a sit down with you. So, I mean, I think this is super compelling. What are we looking at here, Alex? Oh, Wally, do you have a question, buddy?
Yeah, Alex, about 30 seconds into you speaking, I already sent my tech guy, Josh, an email to set up a demo. So we look forward to being one of your partners.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Seems like you're just putting a barrier around your client database that you already have. And yeah, it just seems brilliant.
So 30 seconds, Alex. You're muted, buddy.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you both, everyone who just said, come on. We'd love to have you. So I have 30 seconds. Let me say this. There's no better way to increase your realtor referral rate. As a matter of fact, we might do a whole webinar together about this, Dave, that make yourself the most important person in a realtor relationship. I have all the ways for you guys to do that. But here's the thing. What you're looking at is the monthly alert rate. If your database, your personal database, has about 2,500 past customers on a monthly basis with all the things that we track, the core things that we track. That's about 70 notifications per month from within your own database on events that are happening. And you can see the events, they're listed here, right? They're listed here. So you can start to see that you have over 700 opportunities from within your own database every single year that you can start the conversation on.
Love it. So by the way, Alex, send me an invite when you and I can do like a 20-minute Zoom interview, because I'm actually getting lots of questions about this, and we can literally spend the next 20 minutes with you. But why don't you and I take those questions, and then let's you and I do a video interview like today, tomorrow, like ASAP, and bring this back to the mortgage coach community. You good with that, brother?
Would love to. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys. So we have a little less than 20 minutes left in today's call. I do want to make sure tactically everybody comes away from this knowing how to conduct an annual review with a total cost analysis. That's like if there's one thing that you could implement for the year, if you're not doing it already, is do annual reviews, give a TCA to every client, and tactically we'll do what we're going to do over the next 20 minutes. It will blow up. You'll achieve your goals for the year. So Wally, let's do you first. Tell us what we're looking here and walk us through how you conducted an annual review with TCA in like 5 minutes so we can get to Rick.
So first of all, that's where you stopped with that face of mine on there on the screen?
Oh, sorry, man.
I'm just messing with you.
Let's see if we can find something funny. Oh,
there you go. Now you make me look a little normal.
That's the money shot.
Scroll down a little bit for me.
I don't know, man. I wonder if I could blow that up, you know? No, I'm kidding.
All right, perfect. That's fine. And you can get rid of the video. It's fine. Perfect. So basically, I just reach out to the client. And again, fortunately, these are clients that usually have not heard from me in, north of a year. So I just say, hey, this is Wally with Fairway Mortgage. We closed your mortgage back a year and 3 months ago. How's everything going with a house in Plano? So I'm trying to reconnect with them and make them know that, hey, I'm here. I closed your mortgage. You live in Plano, so I know something about you. So it's a little bit of small talk, and I said, great. Well, hey, I wanted to reach out to you. One thing I do for my clients is I always analyze your mortgage. I want to make sure that you, at the end of the day, walk away when you go sell this home one day with more equity to you than you pay the mortgage company in interest. I don't want to see you make the mortgage company rich by paying them a lot of interest. I want to see you walk away with the most amount of equity. So let's analyze your mortgage to make sure it's running the most efficiently. So then I go through how the escrow account is currently set up. If there's monthly mortgage insurance, is there an escrow shortage? How is the mortgage kind of structured? Are there any hurdles on their monthly payments? Is that increase, decrease? What does that look like? Then the next thing I go through is how the mortgage is set up via the amortization. So the TCA you're looking at right now is one which is a loan, is an annual mortgage review I did on Monday that turned into a refinance, and we've already got the client locked and loaded. But the end of the day, we're going through the mortgage, and I'm showing them how to pay. I'm asking them, hey, your monthly payment's $2,100 a month. What have you been paying? Oh, I rounded up to $2,500. Okay. Now, have you ran an amortization schedule to see if you pay that extra $400 a month, what would that look like to your principal pay down and equity position? Like, no, I haven't. Great. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together an annual mortgage review for you. We use software called Mortgage Coach. And from there, with that Mortgage Coach software, I'm going to coach you through how to pay more principal down and less interest while maximizing your tax benefit. So and then my assistant will set up another call. So is that kind of what you're looking for? Or do you want me to keep going, David?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. So by the way, guys, I want to remind you, we have a playlist called Annual Reviews. And, here's what it looks like. So in our Facebook or in our YouTube channel, just annual reviews. You want to watch playlist to learn how to do these better? There's a playlist for it. Also on our channel, one of my top priorities for the year, because I believe that if you're referral-based local mortgage professionals, you need to be an advisor. Your advice needs to matter. And so I've got this playlist called Mortgage Strategies, and it's just strategies. Some of them are from annual reviews. Most of them are purchase money strategies. But here's an interview with Wally, 28 minutes on how to 4X your past customers. and he actually pulled up 2 TCAs and went over it. So I just want you guys to know there's a lot of resources for you to get better at it. So no, I think that was like a good high-level overview on it. I did notice you had a video on it. What percentage of the time are you adding a video to your annual review?
100% of the time. That's a team standard. We do that when we do a TCA in the beginning, and for every client, and we also do that once they go under contract and we're reviewing the numbers with them again, do an updated TCA. Then also when we do the annual mortgage review, we send out a handwritten note and a gift to their home, plus also have a printed copy of the TCA sent to them. Clearly, we send it to them via email also.
So, by the way, how many loans do you close a year? What's the unit count?
270 or so.
So by the way, guys, 270 closed loans a year, 81 from past customers. Did you hear a word? I mean, I want you to write it down. Team standard. That's a team standard. By the way, that's why the best of the best crush it, is they have standards that they consistently execute. And if you're on this call and you're like, oh, it takes too long to create a mortgage coach report, no, it doesn't. It just means that you haven't done enough reps to where you could do it in 3 to 5 minutes, and you haven't made it a team standard. So Wally, you crushed it. That was awesome. Rick, any questions you have for Wally before we have you go through a strategy?
No, he's brilliant. No, we don't send them out afterwards, but that's something that I'm going to meet with my team right after this, because I think there's some value there.
Yeah, new team standard for the Shear team.
That's it.
All right, brother. So walk us through, you sent me this TCA. What's the story behind it? What's the strategy that we're looking at?
Yeah, so this is a client of mine who actually works for my top insurance agency that I do a lot of business with. We closed her loan about a year and a half ago. We got on a call to do an interview call, and she was at 4.25%. We were right around 4.75%. And so on the face of it, for me, your rate's great. When we did a little research, it's like, well, you put 10% down, you had monthly PMI, so there might be some opportunity there. And I asked her one question that I typically will when I'm on the interview call is there anything that's keeping you up at night? And she said, yeah, this student loan that I've got, I think it was like 15 grand or whatever, and the interest rate was so high, and it was over 20 years, and she's just like, it's just not, doesn't align for me. It's keeping me up at night. So we started to go deeper into it when we were able to look at what reducing down her the PMI was going to be, rolling in the student loan debt. Now again, when you're rolling in student loan debt, you don't get hit, for a lot of lenders, you don't get hit with a cash out refinance adjustment, right? Loan level adjustment. So what we did was we paid off her student loan, no cash out. We took her out of the PMI, and we locked her in at a 4.75% rate. Now, I could do this on the back of a napkin. I could do this and type it up in an email, but it would never resonate with a client where I can take them to the TCA and go, yeah, we're going up 0.5%. Now, when you take out what they saved in the PMI and what they saved no longer paying a student loan for the next 20 years, they netted about $260 per month, increased their tax-deductible interest, and decreased the PMI that's not tax-deductible. So, again, I could have kept her on a spreadsheet and never reached out to her. I could have done a courtesy call, checked in with her, dove deep with her. I did that, uncovered some context, and I can't remember what size loan it was, but it was a nice, couple $100,000 loan and she's in such a much better position than she was 5 minutes before I picked up the phone and gave her a call.
And everybody, I want to remind you of a couple other things. He delivered a personally branded advice experience. And again, referral-based local loan officers, you need to deliver great advice. You need to build a personal brand that creates that client for life. So Rick's got his company brand, he's got his personal brand, and by the way, it's shareable. They can print it, they can share it, they can switch views. This is the way, if you want to create a client for life, optimize your past customer recapture, get those next 3 to 5 transactions that they're going to do, make this a team standard. there's like, we bring a lot of value in a lot of ways here at Mortgage Coach, but automating and doing annual reviews, making that a team standard, it's at the top of the list. Hey, Wally, we've got about 10 minutes left. Any questions for Rick on this before we move on?
Yeah, just one big one. So when you do this is great. I was taking notes while you were going. How do you bring in like the wealth team? How do you bring in asking about a CPA, financial advisor, family will attorney? How do you have that conversation with them?
Yeah, so that's another thing that I was just coaching a loan officer the other day, and they said, well, it's just not really worth it. I don't see the value in it. And then I started talking about what I do at the end of every single call. So when I'm uncovering, when I was talking with Brenda and I was uncovering all her context, understanding that, she had some debt, she had the student loan debt. I always prep the call in the beginning saying, hey, at the end of the call, I got a couple questions at the end. Is that all right? And so they say yes. So when I get to the end, it's, hey, just for your file, I want to make sure that I know the advisors in your life. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how do you rate your CPA? How do you rate your financial planner? How do you rate your estate planner? And how do you rate your insurance? Now, she works for the insurance company I always refer, but so what I do is there I uncover he's a 2 or a 10, or I don't have one, right? It's typically the three that you'll get. Then what I do is I'll circle back and say, well, yeah, you told me your financial planner is a 2. He doesn't call you, there's no interaction. Well, let me do this. I am going to introduce you to a 10. And I, elaborate a little bit more on that. And typically if there's a lack of a financial planner, there's also a lack of a CPA. And there's no doubt that they definitely are on the estate plan. So what I do is I have 3 or 4 groups of individuals that I'll work well together. So I'll, she's let's say, the client's school teachers, right? And you got a wealth manager that wants $1 million on her asset under management, they're not a good fit. So you have to find the one that's going to fit to where is going to help them the best, and then plug them into all of the people, the network in which they work in, and that referral is going out. So on every TCA, 60% of the time in every inner review, 60% of the time I can refer at least one. Out of that, 40% of the time I can refer all 3 or 4. So that's how I bring them in. I uncover. One of the other things too is if my client says that they've got a 10, man, that's just such a brilliant opportunity to say, wow, like I do, 4 or 5 calls like this a day. Man, is your CPA looking, your financial planner looking to grow their business? Because, man, I have clients that just need their help. Would you make a warm introduction? And so that's how I've really been able to spiderweb those networks out.
That was awesome. So I've got text. I see questions about Sales Boomerang. You can go to salesboomerang.com. Also, keep an eye in the channel. I will be doing an interview with Alex soon, and we'll be talking more about this. Before I hand it back to Todd, do each of you have any more questions for each other? Any questions between the two of you before Todd jumps in here?
No, I mean, I think, David, thank you for texting me and Rick last night. Now I've got Rick's cell number, so I'm going to be blowing him up a lot. So, but yeah, hey, man, I appreciate you being a mentor to me and helping a lot, Rick. You and Dave have been great, so thank you.
Yeah, man, I watch you like a hawk, and you're up to big things, man. And so I appreciate what you do for the industry, and you're brilliant in your business. So yeah, thank you so much for being a contributor.
Hey, so one more push on my part, and then Todd, be ready to jump in here, is I am showing our Facebook group right now. And, one of the things that makes this community so amazing, it's just you guys interacting, connecting with each other. I did a post, which is still maybe I took it out. I'm going to repost it. But I asked everybody, how many past customers do you have? And how many past customer loans did you close this year? I want to track success stories. If you are closing, let's just say over 6% of your past customers. So by the way, if that's 1,000 past customers, 6% would be 60. If you're doing over 60 loans a year from 1,000, that's solid. The best I hear is about a 10% pull-through rate. Like, so out of 100, out of 1,000, that'd be 100. That's kind of like top of the mountain. I'm sure that there's someone doing more than that. If you're doing less than 5, most loan officers I talk to are doing 2 or 3. You know, they got 1,000 past customers. They're doing like 20 to 30 loans a year. But I want to make sure you guys are connecting with each other. So I'm going to put a post in here. I'm going to elevate it to the announcement section where I ask the question, how many loans, how many past customers, how many did you close? And then I want you, 1, to answer the question. And then 2, I want you guys to connect offline, you know, make friends like these two are going to do it. So Todd, we got 3 minutes left. I'm going to jump off camera and let you wrap up with any questions or thoughts.
You know, 3 minutes, questions and thoughts. That sounds daunting. You know, thank you guys so much for adding tremendous value. I mean, my real thought here is coaching to the rest of you who are watching this. The bottom line is this: you just had 2 people who are masters at this strategy of maximizing past client loans, and they just rolled out what their playbook is. And so my question for you is, what are you going to do to execute on it, right? Wally talked about team standards. You just need to have an individual standard going forward. And I can tell you, I wrote really big in my book, right? 6%, right? So that's the number, right? Dave said a lot of people are doing less than 5. He says the greatest are doing 10%. Let's go for 6% or greater in 2019. I know you've got in you. I know you guys can do it, but you just have to make the time and make the commitment that this is what you want to do. And then I'd love to bring in Michelle. I saw her pop back on. She's on mute. But Michelle, if you're here and ready to give your 2 cents, I would love to have you close out the call so we can hear from someone doing what you're doing, what you thought.
Hi guys. Yeah, I was. If you see my notebook. First of all, I already scheduled a demo for Sales Boomerang, so I'm on for Monday morning. I'm an executor. Remember, I love doing that. So I like to execute. But everything they're telling you is so great, and it's going to tie in a lot with next week as well as, you know, our past clients and our past referral partners, and showing our value and keeping that relationship with our clients to make them, you want to call them raving fans or the wow experience, whatever you want to call it. You know, understanding that our clients are people who are going to refer us is so important, and how do we make that experience for them so they want to do it. And all of this is going to be value. One of the things I had to overcome, and it's been a really hard thing, I always tell myself, I feel like I'm selling them, or I don't want to sell them. You're not selling them. And this is what my friend Megan always tells me. She goes, you're not selling them. You are showing them value. You're showing them an opportunity for them to save money, not for you to make a commission. Granted, we're going to make a commission as well, but just remember, we're bringing value to the client. We're not trying to upsell them, if that helps you get into the right mindset.
Well, I also think, you know, when a loan officer isn't delivering a tangible advice experience, you know, like if the way you deliver advice is a good faith estimate, if you aren't really serious about helping a family build wealth with real estate by making smarter mortgage decisions, you're gonna feel like you're selling. Hey, I'm just selling loans and rates and fees, and you know, you have to become that person. You have to become that advisor, and for some loan officer, that means you need to redefine your mortgage why. You know, so anyways, it's been an awesome call. Wally, any last thoughts? 30 seconds.
No, I think the mortgage coach community, thank you guys very much. I love the YouTube page and all the videos there. Literally, we block out 30 minutes a week to watch certain as a team, and that's that. If you didn't have that community, we would not be getting educated. So if you're in the mortgage business and you want to improve, go to that community and look at that page.
Love that, Rick. 30 seconds. Any last thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited to get with Alex as well. I think, you know, that's a rifle approach, and you know, be able to cast a wide net around the database you've worked so hard to close. So definitely going to check in with him on that. And Dave, just, man, I can't thank you enough for everything. And yeah, appreciate you, man. And
you're the man.
Tom and Michelle and all you guys.
Hey, Alex, thanks for coming in here, bringing value. 30 seconds. Any last thoughts? You're muted, buddy.
That's how I always start with a mute. Just your community, the way you've brought everyone together, the value everyone brings, it's amazing. Wally, your wall of learn is awesome. I've been started to look at it online, see if I can find one for myself. Just fantastic. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully be on again soon.
Yeah, Wally didn't, you know, there's a couple people that commented on that. Didn't you have that custom built from a local contractor?
I looked online for at least 3 years, and then I made a post on Facebook about it, say, hey, who do you guys know that's a carpenter that can make this vision? And it was like on a napkin. And the funniest thing is one of my assistants reached out to me and knocks on my door and says, hey, I do this on the side. Do you want me to make it for you? So six weeks later, I had that on board. And the guy was literally in my office right under my nose.
Wow. That's awesome,
That's fantastic.
man.
Wow.
Cool, guys. Well, hey, man, it's super gift to be one of the leaders in the mortgage coach community, you know, for everybody that made time to be on today's call, learn from us. We appreciate you. If you got value or a takeaway, like us, you know, so like if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, give it a like and share this with your team, share this with your mortgage friends, and have an awesome week, everybody. Take care. Awesome weekend. See y'all later.
Good to see y'all. Take care.
See you guys.
Late.